We have an NHL trade to discuss between the Montreal Canadiens and the Los Angeles Kings. Plus, the Chicago Blackhawks have signed goaltender Colin Delia to an extension. We'll get into all the latest coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, we have another trade to discuss here today. This one's a fairly minor deal, but I do think this deal could lead to another trade here that we should see possibly sooner than later. The Montreal Canadiens and LA Kings have hooked up for a minor deal here. The Montreal Canadiens have acquired veteran NHL center Nate Thompson from the Los Angeles Kings, along with the 2019 fifth-round selection, which originally belonged to the Arizona Coyotes, in exchange for a 2019 fourth-round selection from Montreal, which originally belonged to the Calgary Flames. So with Nate Thompson coming over to Montreal, that provides him a little bit more experience, a little bit more depth. Of course, Thompson played in the NHL now for a long time, spent a lot of time with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, played with the Anaheim Ducks for a number of years. Came over to Ottawa a couple seasons ago, and then was later traded to LA. Now he's back over in Montreal. Thompson did have a form of a no-trade clause, which he did have to waive to go to Montreal in this trade here today. So I don't mind this deal for Montreal. I mean, Nate Thompson comes with a salary of $1.65 million. He's a pending UFA, so there's no kind of long-term commitment. Because there's only 55 days left in the NHL season, this only impacts the Habs salary cap by just shy of $488,000. So it's not a huge deal for them, but it does give them a little bit more experience for the playoffs. Obviously, things are looking good for Montreal for the playoffs, and I know Mark Bergevin had indicated before he wasn't going to be spending a lot of future assets in order to go into a rental market. This is the rental market, but it's a really small price tag to pay. Really to get a veteran forward in exchange for a later round draft pick really isn't too big of a deal. But this puts Montreal with 15 forwards on their roster now. Of course, Dale Weiss has been recalled after being acquired from the Philadelphia Flyers. So there's a lot of forwards in the Montreal Canadiens roster right now, so they need to make additional room. There's been some speculation that maybe a guy like Charles Hudon, who was a healthy scratch the other night, very well could be on his way out. It's been mentioned before as well, but nothing's ever come to be. Possibly maybe like Chaput. One of those two guys likely is out the door. When I first seen the rumblings of the Nate Thompson deal coming to Montreal, I was waiting to find out what the return was before to record this video, and kind of wondered if it might have been a player like a Charles Hudon, or there could have been some other pieces involved. But a minor deal, but since this puts them at 15 forwards, I do expect somebody else to be on the move. Just not sure exactly who and when yet. But if I had to guess, I'd say more than likely Hudon, possibly Chaput. So we'll keep an eye on the Habs here. I would think that they're likely going to be doing another trade here sometime in the near future, definitely before the deadline. They're not going to want to carry 15 forwards here for a very long period of time. If you're a Habs fan, certainly let me know what you think of this deal. Obviously, it's not a big trade, but it certainly gives them another fourth-line center option with some experience for the playoffs. You're not going to get a lot of offense out of Nate Thompson, but he can kill penalties, decent on faceoffs, get a lot of experience. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and we'll continue the conversation. The Chicago Blackhawks have also signed goaltender Colin Delia to a 3-year extension at $1 million annual cap hit as well. Of course, he's played relatively well in the absence of Corey Crawford. There's another strategy at play here, which I mentioned in some other signings as well. Of course, this puts him under a 3-year window, so it gives them a goaltender that's under contract for when the Seattle expansion draft comes up here in a couple years' time. Obviously, NHL teams are required to expose a certain number of players, so you're going to see a lot of these contracts, certainly have some strategies involved, especially for, guys in a backup role, or your bottom pair defensemen, your bottom 6 forwards, those types of players that are less likely to be protected when it comes time for the expansion draft. So certainly a pretty fair contract. I think he's certainly earned the right to stay in Chicago for a while longer. Of course, Cam Ward's on an expiring contract, and it's not really clear the exact health here of Corey Crawford going forward, but he has been practicing, and he could be returning soon from the last reports I've seen. So we'll see, but it's hard to say what Corey Crawford's future looks like. He's had a number of concussions now. It's hard to say exactly when he calls or quits. But hopefully he can make a full recovery, and if he can stay with the Hawks and be productive, that'll make them that much better. They've been on a bit of a tear lately, so we'll see. I know they're trying to make a gun here for the playoffs. They're getting some career seasons potentially out of some longtime veterans like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, who have rebounded incredibly well this year. So we'll see what happens. I think it's a nice signing for Chicago. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section on that one, and we can discuss that as well. If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up before you go. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.